ठीक नहीं है। उन लोगों को पता चलता अभी से, अगर हम नहीं ट्रेनिंग खुद करते हैं अपने ऊपर और औरों को नहीं बताते तो क्या होना है, ये देश का क्या होगा, कहाँ इंडिया। सी अगेन नाउ यू हैव टू रिफ्लेक्ट, am I participating as if I am the cause in India? Am I participating in a way that I am a cause in India? India develop कहाँ से होगा?
हर छोटे छोटे एक्शन जो हम ले रहे हैं, हर छोटी छोटी सोच जो हम इंटरटेन कर रहे हैं, every time is it either it is making India develop or it is not making it. Either it is coming as an obstruction or it is progressing towards that. It is here. Yes, every minute that we are doing.
And you don't have to mention. You have to remember only one thing. Am I?
Sorry, we have to move on because of this thing. Just to brief you is that today's intent for corporate finance is that, as you have seen that in your second semester, basically we are dealing economics and finance at three layers. One at our personal level, another at corporate level, another at country level. These are the three levels which we are operating. In the second semester, we have made the attempt to deal with our personal finance. Plus, we have also made an attempt on corporate finance. We started, company, firm finance, not as a, but it was the introductory part of it, the financial management, managerial accounting, whatever we manage in a company. So that was initiated. Now, corporate finance will be taken care of in this semester. On the personal finance front, in the second semester, third day, we have really hit it. Third day. Based on what you have built up and what Madam has built up, we have touched on the country also, economy part, and monetary policy and fiscal policy. We have created, I think, has it been circulated to all? Something I have forwarded to somebody that please circulate to all. Have I done that to you?
Haven't circulated.
Whom I said? Have I said
Both of us.
Both of you? But I mentioned to Rahul that please circulate to all. Just check it out. Then, so some initiation has taken place. The culmination of this country part will take place in the fourth semester, where we will discuss about organizational design and development. Country as an organization, its design and development, we will ascertain that. The personal finance was dealt with in the second semester. If any of you has any issue about the personal finance, please raise it right now, because now we will be focusing on corporate finance. Not now, then these are statistics, but you raise it. Third day you are not there, for second semester you are not there. Do the second semester in the next batch. But if whenever the break is there, you can always ask me or you can ask others. Now, okay, besides you, personal finance, have you dealt with it? पर्सनल फाइनेंशियल जो आपके इश्यूज हैं, थर्ड डे आप थे, राइट? हम लोगों ने बात किया था लायबिलिटी को कैसे एसेट में बदले, लायबिलिटी और लीकेज को कैसे बंद करें. बेसिकली we discussed like there are people as liability and there are people as asset. Either convert the liability people into asset or distance yourself till you have the power to transform. But suppose they are the family members, you don't have any other way but to transform them. So we have discussed about ability to transform people in our life. That we discussed on the second semester also. Ability to transform people. And there is a lot of transformation available around me also after second semester. Because I have just taken out that otherwise it is a leakage. Right? This is what we discussed on personal finance. That is what we discussed even yesterday. That you can take big game. When you take big game, everything is taken into account. तो कल हम लोगों ने वो गेम लिया, You know, everybody has taken big game, like somebody has taken 30 TMBA enrollment, 100 TMBA. How many TMBA enrollment? 100 TMBA enrollment. Flats 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, something like that. The moment big picture is taken, that T1, T2, T3 drops out. Then transformation starts happening. So, and that will certainly cause a lot of result in personal finance field. Naturally, if you do good for a company, company will give you back. If you do for any individual, individual will, it is simple give and take. Now on the corporate finance front, the intent is that, like Fountainhead Group of Company itself is a corporate, it is taking that shape. Now, as a finance expert, or you know, Kirendra and Rahul, like you have learned finance, MBA finance, are we following the best practices? That will be obvious when we will be discussing this. At the same time, whether the other corporates around the world are following the best practices of corporate finance. The answer can be yes or no. If it is no, how they can do it. But before they can do it, how we can do it. So implementing that part of it. So looking from the point of view that whatever we are discussing, can we implement and apply that in our company, one, and can we support other company to get applied. That is the one of the intention of the corporate finance topic that sir is going to take. Besides that, there are many things that we listen from himself. Any other question you have before I give the stage to Professor Ramji? Yeah, Girendra Babu?
Yes, sir.
कुछ
इम्पोर्टेंट कुछ ऐसे लीकेज हैं अभी जो कि मेरे सराउंडिंग्स में हैं जिसको मैं अभी फिलअप कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज वो प्रोसेस है कि इमीडिएट आई कैन नॉट डू दैट लाइक जो पर्सनल हेल्थ इशू तो एवरीडे वो खाना वाना खाते तो वो लेट आता है उसको मैं इतना ज़्यादा हैरास नहीं कर सकता हूँ लेकिन मेरे जो जल्दी खाना वाना उसको मॉर्निंग में बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो कि मैं उसको एसेस करूँ ये सब लीकेज है जो कि अभी मैं देख रहा हूँ कि कुछ ऐसे लीकेज हैं कुछ ऐसे कन्वर्सेशन होते रहते हैं सराउंडिंग्स में जो मेरे लिए especially now I am able to identify that these are the leakage for wasting of time, putting full efforts, mental, physical to these conversations, but this is useless. So उसको मैं ये कर रहा हूँ, but ये casual मेरा ये नहीं, because मैं जिस तरीके से
see you need to get that either you transform that or you maintain the distance. Maintain the distance means either you transform that or get out of that. Naturally, you can't throw people from your life, but you can always throw yourself from that situation. It is never, like being stubborn and then dealing it and making it up. Like when you are not getting it, we are not going to waste much time. We have said, okay, boss. So leakage we have always the okay. आप नहीं सुधर रहे हो, हम ही लोग सुधर जाते हैं. It is not about the other person. You get that? It's about you being responsible. You have allowed yourself to be indulged in various leakage. You can't avoid that when you have a mission for yourself and for everybody. You say, okay, right now I can't transform. There are many things. There is very good quote on discretion. Vivek ke baare mein. Discretion is to know what you can alter and what you cannot alter. So you are doing it at the cost of something. Are you getting indulged at the cost of something? So you want to say something?
But you have to fill up for this leakage or either if I am not able to transform them, definitely I have to maintain the distance from this. till the time I am able to transform that.
Actually, you know, like, actually getting it, being responsible, because you have 10 commitment. Every one of us has 10 commitment. So you can't allow to get stuck at one place. Why I went for 2 days to Shahpur?
Which
I went for 2 days to Shahpur. You remember that? 2 days I was not in Bombay. If I can't transform, because I have so many commitment, other commitment, nothing should get distracted. It is not about अरे नहीं आपको step on होके यहीं पे waste करता है. You can't afford to waste your resources. So I am not saying go away for 2 days. It's a different game for different everybody. But what I am saying, same situation was there for me today. Jayanti came last night and he had so many issues to handle. Now all those things I have got it in the paper, piece of paper. What are the issues to be handled, and I have to come to the office. I can't deal with कि वो सारा चीज को पहले मैं solve करूं तभी घर से निकलूंगा. I have to be responsible. We can't blame others. कि आप लीकेज हो हमारे. Sorry, they are not leakage. We are allowing the leakage to happen. Till you get that, you will not be able to involve people. Anyway, we won't allow you to be leakage. You want to say something, say, otherwise sit down. Again stand up, again say, till the time everybody is honestly enrolled. And you can do that. You are knowing all the technology. Only thing is that you can allow yourself the indulgence to waste your time, or you can immediately come back. You say, boss, I have cheated myself enough. I am back. Twice is more. But well tried. You have, something is opening up. So don't get into guilt zone. It's just keep on looking at and you will find it, I'm sure. Yes. So are we ready for the corporate finance? And my intention is that within 15 days or so, we should put up all the things that we are learning into our practice as a corporate finance best practices that we learn. Similarly for your pharmaceutical company. So,
Thank you.
thank you. Can we welcome Professor Ramji?
Thank you.
Like we covered last time, every endeavor, every business, every activity requires resources. You use those resources to produce something which is in demand. So last time I showed you a balance sheet, you have sources of funds and you have uses of funds. Okay. Now sources of funds. Which are the two sources I told you? One is equity capital or share capital. Second is loan or debt. This is the source. Then you have uses. What uses do you put it? You put it to buy fixed assets, or to buy current assets, whatever. And you use these assets to produce something of value. Now, whether something is of value or not is decided by the market. Okay. So, the greater is your effort in producing something, greater is the demand, and therefore the greater increase in value. Simple. Okay. This is very, very important because you go into the share market. You go into gambling, you go to Mahalakshmi Investors, you do betting. This is all a zero-sum game. Zero-sum meaning for one person to win, another has to lose. Okay. So at the total level, it is like in a family, you are fighting with your brother and he says, no, I want 10 rupees, you want 20 rupees. Now as far as the head of the family is concerned, is there any difference? No, it's the same. Similarly, as far as the country is concerned, gambling, debt, share market doesn't make any difference. One person has to lose for another to gain. But economic growth is something which involves everybody. Everybody grows there. Okay. There is no person has to lose. Everybody can gain. And how does economic growth happen? Only when you create value. How do you create value? By using these resources in the most prudent manner. Trying to maximize the value of your assets. Now, the maximizing the value of the assets has nothing to do with the cost of those assets. How the assets are used creates its value. Okay. That is all corporate finance is about. There is nothing complicated about. Very, very simple. Okay. And that is what we are going to study. That's why I call it an introduction, because what I am
Fixed asset and current asset.
correct. See, this is like religion and God. Okay. What is religion? Religion is a signpost which indicates the direction to God. I hold on to the signpost and say, I have achieved, I have achieved. I have not achieved. God is there. This is only a signpost. Similarly, what I am trying to do is only create an interest in you to learn more about it. That has been one of the problems in our educational system that I have been trying to address in my own small limited way. See, we all think people are only hard disks. Cram information into them. We are the software, we are not hard disk. It is very easy to store things in the hard disk. I don't want you to be a hard disk, I want you to be the software. Okay, developing. That's why I am throwing things at you. Just absorb it, Don't worry, oh, how will I remember all this? You don't have to. You will not realize, but you will remember. So, now, here I have divided it into various sections, typically because this is where I left off in the last semester. Financial statements. Financial statements, what did we do last time? We learned the basics and we said we are going to apply it in exercise to our own selves, because everything starts with yourself, with myself at home. We did that. Then I slowly developed the concept of how it is presented for businesses or corporates. Just to give you a simple thing. When I want to start a business, I put two things. I put capital and I put effort. Both I put. The risk is mine. Chala, nahi chala, everything is mine. Okay. Now when the business grows, I need some help. Not only to manage the business but also finance, money. Then I get another person. That is called partnership. The basic form of organization is proprietorship. Then you need capital and you need management help. So you have partnership. Now the business still grows. You may get more partners, but beyond a certain limit, people will say, कि भाई पैसा दे सकता हूँ, but I cannot give you the time. Number one. Number two, I am willing to risk my money to you, but don't tell me under law that tomorrow you do something, even my personal assets will be attached. That I am not willing. जब ये नौबत आई, तो देखो, we came up with the concept of limited liability company. It is an entity separate. It is not. That is why proprietorship, partnership, no guy will give you money. A limited company, you know this is the amount of money I am committing. Okay, I have taken the risk. If you make money out of it, it becomes a big success, great. If it doesn't, don't come to me for more money. Okay, where money is collected. There also you go to a few people you know, like like Fountainhead in the current process of, I know this person, he has confidence in me, he will put money. In which case he puts the money with the full knowledge that that money is at risk and he cannot sell it except to the person who started the company. It goes on, then the business increases, And it reaches a stage where it is impossible that so many people will come and put money. You have to go to strangers. You have to create a story. You have to include. Now, whenever you go to somebody who has no idea, the government and the law steps in. So you have the parliament creating the Companies Act, the executive creating the various methods of adopting it. There may be doubts. The courts will interpret the law. But in order to promote competition and let us see that the strong do not overpower the weak, there is level playing ground. Our government creates a regulator. Like for banking, the regulator is RBI. For the markets, it is SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board. Now, we will not do well because the law wants us to do well. We want to do well because we want to do well. We want to create value. How do we create? Will you reach perfection? We may not. Because perfection itself is an ongoing concept. But you will always strive towards achieving that balance. And how do you achieve that balance is what we are going to be looking at. So before that, we start with understanding financial statements. What are these financial statements? Like I told, what are financial statements? These are statements usually in common, prescribed format, because the government lays down for companies format in which you are supposed to give it. So that is why it is called prescribed format that depicts in financial terms. Remember, everything is in financial terms. Okay, the operations of an entity. What has that entity done during a given period? So during a given period, what has the company done over a period of 1 year or whatever? That is called the income statement or the profit and loss account. Okay, over a period. Profit and loss account for the period ending 31st March. And the state of that entity at the end of the period. That is the balance sheet. Okay, that's all. That is what financial statement is about. There is an income statement and there is a profit and loss account. What are the basic financial statements? As I told you, profit and loss account, then there is a balance sheet, and then there is a cash flow statement. We discussed this last time, as I called it the Trimurti of financial statements. Okay, the profit and loss account, the balance sheet, and the cash flow statement. What does profit and loss account tell us? Whether over that period, how much has been the income, how much has been the expenses. Expenses not only paid but accrued. Income not only received but accrued. All that happened during that period, you take it and say whether we have made a profit or whether we have made a loss. And then the balance sheet says these are my assets as of that date, these are my liabilities. Okay. But these are static statements. Suppose I have bought I'm building a new residential or a office complex at Shahpur. ठीक है, it is showing the balance sheet. पैसे कहाँ से आए boss? So where exactly did it come? Cash flow statement tells you how it was funded. Was it funded through a loan? Was it funded through further issue of equity? Was it funded through a bank loan? That is why this is a flow. It is like a river. It falls. So where has the money come from? Where has it gone? Now, profit and loss account is also called an earnings statement. Shows the financial result of a company's operations during a given period, usually a year. What are the key items? First is income from operations. Whenever you say income, you will say income from operations. When I say operations, I mean what is the main business of the company. Okay. If the main business of the company is education and you have made profit out of property business, that is not operating income. That is other income. Okay. So what is the purpose? If it is a property company, whatever income from property is the main income from operations and the others are other income. Okay. The idea is to focus कि इनका धंधा क्या है, I don't know whether I shared with you last time, till before liberalization, okay, during our younger days, when I was a teenager, I wanted to buy a two-wheeler, पापा के पीछे पड़ गया था मैं, आज भी ठीक है, there was only one two-wheeler manufacturer in India, हमारा बजाज, okay. The method was I had to go and pay the full price of the scooter after filling the form and standing in a queue. 2,750 rupees, I still remember, it was paid, and I waited for the scooter 7 years. Myself to get a scooter, I waited for 7 years.
By that time,
I was not a teenager. Okay, now Bajaj Auto was one of the most profitable companies. Okay, and they used to, Rahul Bajaj used to go, you know, I am running the business in spite of all the government controls. Bullshit. When the government introduced this concept of cash flow, we found out that 48% of his revenue came from financing activities, not from two-wheeler.
Interesting.
So, then you start wondering कि ये scooter activity कर रहा है या para banking कर रहा है? Okay, that is why it is broken up. Income, what is the main operations and how much from other income. Okay. Then what is the expenditure, related expenditure? Okay. Once you have the related expenditure, then you have profit before interest, depreciation and tax, or it is called EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. Okay. That means, why is this separately given? EBITDA, earnings before interest. Remember, interest is on this side. Okay. You remove the financing cost out of this operations, because maybe because you have borrowed at a high rate, the business is not doing well. Okay. So remove interest. धंधे में कितना पैसा बन रहा है? Okay. Then depreciation. What is depreciation? There is no actual cash outflow. But if you have a fixed asset, over a period of time, through wear and tear, it gets worn out. So recognize that separately. Okay. And for that recognition, there are standard practices. You can have a standard practice, but standard practices apart, the government says these are the practices I recognize. You can say, computer आज ले रहा हूँ तो एक महीने के बाद तो कोई खरीदेगा नहीं साहब, तो I am going to write off 100%. Okay, the government says no. You write off in your book, but when I am calculating tax, you have to write it off over 3 years. Okay. So that is why depreciation is important. Then earnings before interest, tax. Now tax is something which you all have to pay. Okay. So tax does not determine the profitability of the business. That is why it is shown separately. Depreciation. What is amortization? Amortization is nothing but depreciation of intangible assets, like a patent, a brand. The brand value also goes down. Patent value also goes down. That is depreciation. Depreciation, amortization, as I explained, interest, profit before tax. Profit before tax is after you have paid, provided for depreciation, after you have provided for interest also, what is the profit you made. Then you have to pay the taxes. Okay. And then you have PAT, that is profit after tax. And then after that, who